Hello and welcome to World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sasha Farbach. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney was in Warsaw Monday, meeting both Prime Minister Donald Tusk and President Karol Nawrocki, and calling Poland absolutely essential to Ukraine's defense. Now, with Ottawa pledging more than 620 million euros in new military support and Poland pushing defense spending to nearly 5% of GDP, the two countries are deepening their partnership. Carney's European visit continues with stops in Germany and Latvia to discuss trade, security, and NATO commitments. And to unpack what this means for business and defense, we're joined now by Bernhard Otterstein, president of the Polish-Canadian Chamber of Commerce, in the studio. Good to have you. Welcome back.
Good to be here.
Let's begin with this quote. I like this. Absolutely essential. This is what Carney has called Poland's role in the defense of Ukraine. There's already a lot of cooperation between Canada and Poland. Also, the Prime Minister said he's learned from the PM how to pull our full weight in NATO. So tell us on those reactions. It's quite different a little bit, isn't it, from the previous Prime Minister?
Well, I would say that there's a lot of very substantive issues that are being discussed now, and the example of Poland being basically the logistics hub for Ukraine, whether it's through humanitarian aid or military assistance, it's quite obvious and clear that it comes through Poland. Poland is the closest country and the country that's best equipped to act as a launch pad, I guess, for all kinds of initiatives to help Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. And also, speaking of Ukraine, and we're looking at Canada's now going to be spending, or they've already spent $9.6 billion in total aid to Ukraine. How realistic, though, is that to keep it up? I mean, they're already struggling also with the defense issue, raising GDP there. So how long can they push this?
I think that essentially the commitment is there. So, you know, the questions of how long to push this will depend on how long it takes. I mean, it's not a matter of pushing it. I think it's a matter of trying to end the conflict as well. And as we know, there are serious initiatives to try to achieve that. I think that in terms of Poland's commitment to NATO and what we've seen Canada, the statements we've seen from the Prime Minister and others, is that yes, Canada has learned some lessons from Poland as well in that regard. Poland has been a leader, after all, within NATO and showing its commitment to NATO and its spending that goes with that. Mm-hmm.
And also, I mean, worth mentioning Operation Unifier, right? This has been running for a while. Ukrainian soldiers being trained, many of those trained in Poland as well. So that's interesting. Yeah. I want to segue also into trade. That's a big one as well. There's a massive amount of trade happening right now between Canada and Poland. That's a key partner. Where do you see those major sectors? Where's the most growth potential there between these two places?
The trade relationship is incredibly strong. And of course, it's based on common values and goals and all of the things that allow countries to become close strategic partners. So the key economic sectors that are strong and that will grow further clearly are energy security. And Prime Minister Carney has stated that he wants to turn Canada into an energy superpower. And that is something that Poland really needs to assure its energy security. So that alone, with the two countries working together on a range of energy topics that are, you know, from LNG to all kinds of technologies and renewables. We have a huge renewable project that Northland Power and Orlen are working on in the Baltic Sea, but also nuclear, with SMRs and big nuclear being on the table, and a lot of that technology plus the supply chains are coming from Canada. So I think that and of course we have Poland with a lot of technical knowledge, know-how, prowess as well. So it's really two partners that come together, and the match is great. So energy is big. But of course, defense and everything around NATO and interoperability and issues like that are important. And also, you know, aerospace, which has been a traditional area of cooperation, is growing now that LOT has procured a lot of Canadian-made Airbus planes, A220s. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that and then we have other areas like IT, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and all kinds of creative solutions around that. That's a growth area, as well as trade in general, which I think is something that under the CETA agreement between Canada and the EU for free trade, that's something that's certainly going to be emphasized more and become more important.
I want to ask, backtrack a little bit on energy as well, but first, I mean, you mentioned a lot of potential between these two countries. That didn't just happen overnight, it's been there for some time. But nevertheless, I mean, it does seem, I mean, this is also Carney's fourth trip to Europe since he's become Prime Minister, so that's also significant. But has this in any way, these business prospects, this more attention on Poland and Europe for that fact, has this now increased because of the volatile relationship between Canada and the United States at all?
The relationship between Canada and the United States is fundamental to our existence for both sides, both from an economic and a security point of view. That said, the somewhat, I would say, the tendency of the United States to be a little bit more inward-looking, if we can say that, at the moment, certainly has incentivized Canada to strengthen its ties to other parts of the world, especially to Europe and Asia, and actually other regions as well, South America and so forth. But I think the European transatlantic relationship that is based on history and a huge Polish population as well as other European populations in Canada, and the history of working together over the decades and even longer, certainly they create a natural place for Canada to turn to, and for the European Union as well, to have Canada as a security and energy and trading partner that we already have a free trade agreement and have had since 2017.
You mentioned also that human connection, and looking also, I think this was highlighted by both President Nawrocki and also the Prime Minister yesterday, about this, about descendants, right? Poles who have about 1.1 million Polish descendants in Canada. How much of this is also tied with this bridge over into Poland with not just with culture, but also with business?
It's very important, and I think what it does the most is it builds trust and it builds bridges and communication and a common purpose, really. I think that there's no need, and the Prime Minister, both Prime Ministers of Canada and Poland yesterday underscored that we don't need declarations of trust and common purpose. We have that, and that's really important. So all of the human and the historical and the diasporic aspects really lie at the foundation of our relationship, which can now go on and of course blossom into other areas.
Also, real quick on the energy front, the SMRs. I mean, this is something that is touted as a game changer. But also, if we're looking at right now nuclear projects for Poland, I mean, it's very much the Americans that are number one listed. So SMR, where's the future here? Is this really going to impact Poland as much as, let's say, it says on the package?
SMRs are certainly the hope to replace a lot of aging coal-burning power plants. And that technology fits perfectly with Poland, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's being developed so ambitiously by Poland, but of course by Canada as well, and the United States. With all nuclear, I think the key is that it's a cooperation between Canada, Poland, and the United States, with Westinghouse being Canadian-owned and other Canadian technologies on the table, including CANDU and of course the SMRs, which have that new aspect of practicality attached to them, plus Canada's supply chains of uranium, whether enriched or unenriched, depending on the technology used. All of that together really creates a very close working relationship between our countries.
Also, speaking about working relationship, I mean, you have the Prime Minister Carney, in Berlin today, meeting Chancellor Merz. How do you see this also relation? I mean, clearly that's going to matter as well. Germany's a big economy. How does Poland fit into that alignment? What are you expecting from those talks today?
I think the dynamics are important because Germany is a much larger economy at this point still. And the trade between Canada and Germany is a lot bigger than that between Canada and Poland. That said, the dynamics are important. Poland is Europe's fastest growing economy, about at number 5 now, and starting to overtake some pretty big players. And even in the first 6 months of this year, we've seen a 21% increase in bilateral trade between Poland and Canada. So the dynamic, and with Germany, it's going a little bit in the opposite direction sometimes. That said, Germany is important. It's an important trading partner for Canada. Poland is sort of the up-and-coming one, the fastest growing, and Germany is still the biggest. So I think that the dynamics are easy to see that, Germany is big, but perhaps not developing as quickly. Poland is somewhat smaller and really starting to become significant.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And also just wrapping all this up together now, looking at the future between what Canada's role is, defense, energy, a business, we've all tied it up together. But what's your expectation for these next months and years between that relationship with Canada's role here in Poland and the wider region?
Well, I think that at the moment it is dominated by energy issues, which are, of course, part of the wider energy transformation and modernizing of the economy. And it goes both ways. I mean, Canada has perhaps the resources that Poland and other countries in Europe need, but both countries can work together on a technological basis and using existing technologies. And of course, we have a lot of new agreements around that. And the other thing that is dominating right now, other than the obvious IT and AI and cybersecurity issues, are the hard kinetic military issues at the moment. And you mentioned the unifier joint training of Ukraine is 45,000 by now. And so, that is still a dominating thing. But I think as the hostilities in Ukraine end, hopefully soon, we can see Canada playing a significant part in peacekeeping and in rebuilding Ukraine as well.
Right. So although
with Poland.
Although Canada is far away, there's a close relationship at hand. We'll explore it more in future. Bernhard Otterstein, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming by today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And thank you for watching. That concludes World Talks here on TVP World. But stay tuned. Much more coming up, so stay tuned. Bye-bye.